Hello everybody, this is Diane and I would like to show you the journal that I just created. It's some different style for me, and I made it with a course that I took from Nellie Wortman. I'll show you, this is her name, Nellie Wortman. And this is Somerset Studio magazine from September-October 2017. And this is the picture that was on the front of the magazine. In case you have a stack at home, you can look for September-October 2017 or look for this picture and you can see this article about her. And I don't remember if I saw this and then found her course, or if I signed up for the course and saw this later. I don't remember. But she has an Etsy shop, nelliewortman.etsy.com. I will link her shop below, and that's where you can find her courses. I think she also has a website. So it was really fun to be able to look through this and see some of her other work. This is the Altered Book course, Altered Book Journal course, or it might have the word Dreams. Altered Book course, I don't remember, but it has... the journal that she makes has a tree similar to this on the front. This is not the book, but it has a tree that looks kind of like that on the front. Just so you know which course that I followed here. I'm going to glue these. I haven't picked this up to show it to you better because I need to glue stuff down. But before I do that, I'm going to flip through, because once I glue these pieces down, I won't be able to open up the cover until they dry. So I'm going to just do a quick flip through while I talk a little bit about the course. I'm going to add some more glue to this cardboard here. And then I'll flip through it again and talk a little bit more. I just want you to have something to look at while I talk about the course a little bit, because you can tell she's a very creative soul with a lot going on in her mind. She often doesn't finish a sentence, and she kind of has so many thoughts in her head that she kind of jumps from one thing to another, and so at times it was a little confusing. But I had to take a break from it for over the weekend because now I can't even think to talk. Because I don't want to criticize her or her course, but it's just a little different from what I expected. I think it's more of an inspirational course than an instructional, although she does provide instruction. But she doesn't go page by page, this is what I did on this page and this is how I did this page. She kind of just tells you things you could do. She shows you examples of some of her work. And she talks about different things you could do. And she gets you started with the basics. And then just kind of lets you go. This page here, she talked more in detail about, so I was able to kind of mimic what she did, but it's quite a bit different from what she did. So basically, after I took a break from it, I just watched all of the videos in the course, and it doesn't take that long. I think there's something like 6 videos. I watched them all at least once, and then I just felt inspired, and I had an idea of how I wanted to proceed. And it's more my journal than her journal, you know? I was able to make it my style. And it's a bit grungier, a little bit grungier than what I normally do, and shabbier, although I do love shabby. Hers is more grungy looking than mine. Hers has nature elements, like she'll take a piece of stick that she finds on a walk, or dried leaves and things, and she uses them. And I did more my style in it, and I really like the way it ended up. So I just wanted to let you know, before I recommend the course to you, I wanted you to know that it might not be exactly what you think it's going to be. Like I said, there is instruction in it, but I made my spine the way I wanted to. I did a video on how I made my spine. This is the spine the original spine from this book that I use, just this little piece, and then I added onto it because she didn't really instruct on how to do this. And so I'm not going to talk about the things that she instructed in this journal because that's a part of her course, but just watching the course made me think differently in making my pages. So I'll just quickly go through what I did. Now this is something that she did, and that is some cross stitching. She used bright red, which I really liked, but it didn't go with what I had going on, because you'll see inside. So I just used this kind of yellow orange. It doesn't stand out as much as the red, but it looks better with the concept that I had. I put some lace on the fabric that I had used to extend the spine, covered that with lace before I sewed it, and I'll probably add something else to the spine, like a cluster of stuff here. But I'll do that. I'll show you that when I'm done with it. And on the back, this is made with a book about upholstered furniture, and it's from the 1930s. And I used a couple images from the book. One on the outside, one on the inside, at least one. It's just collaging and some paint and stuff back here. And I'll come back and cover this. On the inside, this was an idea that she showed also. Taking a really, it's an antique book, Book of Worship. It says with tunes, and I just thought it was so pretty, but very, very worn and shabby, and I glued it here because that was an idea that she had. And I added some lace underneath it, and then some lace and doily bits and a little old photograph. This is 1929, and it's a school photo. I got a little pile of them at a flea market, these children, and it's cracked. I didn't scan this image in because it wouldn't make a very good digital because a lot of them were creased and cracked. And I added this really cool oval button. I did this picture that's going to go on the outside. I did scan this in, and I just want to show you. I have all these cabinet cards. This is just a portion of cabinet cards and old photos that I have, but all of these I scanned in. So I'll have 5 sheets that I can make a digital out of, and including the one that I'm putting on the front cover. And then the pages are done with watercolor paper, so they're very heavy, and I only have 6 folded pages in here. So it's 3 signatures with 2 folded pages in each signature. So I have more pastel colors than she has. Hers is earthy looking. And she likes trees and windows and doors, and I like windows and doors too. But I like flowers and people. I love to have a focal image of a person. So I used some of that. I think that got folded under. Okay, so I got out, I've got a whole wad full of fabrics I need to fold up and take care of now. But I had baby clothes that I got at a flea market and vintage laces and pieces. I think that some of this came off on that lace. It was probably a little damp from glue, but I don't mind that. So this is an image that I had. I feel like I'm very all over the place like she was. I had a art journal that I took apart, maybe 2, I don't know, but I took these apart and cut them apart before I moved, because this isn't one that, it was, I don't know, it was beginning art journal for me, but I didn't want to just throw it away, so I kept a lot of the pieces that I liked, and I can cut out fragments that I really, really like. This was in an art journal, and it's actually a rubber stamp. Looks like roses through a window pane, kind of. And it was a technique I tried with white embossing powder and then watercoloring inside the parts that are embossed. And it was just so beautiful. I loved the way the colors, the variations of color, shades of color. I just love that. So I cut that out and put that on. And this is the only journaling I've done so far in the book. And that was just to write a scripture verse that is one of my favorites, and we talked about it in church Sunday, so I just put that in there. And this is from a spine of an old book, from the inside, the part that you don't normally see. This is baby clothes, 2 layers of different baby clothes. And I just did a lot of sewing on them. A little bit of lace and a gorgeous vintage button. Here is another piece of this baby outfit, and it's got the snap on it. And you can see there's kind of like mixed media on the background, but she talks about that. She talks about how to prepare your pages for the base, so I'm not going to go into that. But I've got layers of fabric and cheesecloth and stuff here. Here's a piece of vintage lace. Here is a piece of a baby outfit. So it's got the pin tucks here and the embroidery, and I loved the blue on it. So I added some blue to my background, and I'm gonna do something with this piece. It was for decoupage, and it's a Renoir painting, and she's got pale blue. So I'm gonna do something with this and tuck it in there for journaling. Sounds like somebody's shoveling at my house. I didn't ask anybody to shovel. It's been snowing here again. We've had so much snow this winter. Yeah, I hope it's not one of the kids that comes around and expecting money, because they didn't ask. Anyway, this has vintage lace and part of a vintage doily up here. And this is a piece from a baby outfit. It had little buttonholes on it, a little bit of lace and an old button. Now this is what she did demonstrate how to make this, and it's got an old cabinet card in there, and I forgot to scan this one, so this one won't be in my shop. And it's so cute. She made a little roof out of mica and did some cross stitching, and then she talks about how to make the little flaps. And there's a piece of a book spine there. Now the mica is something that I didn't have. The only thing I purchased for this journal was the mica tiles. I just went on Amazon and found mica tiles, and this is how they come. And I think this was cut off of this piece, I'm not sure. Cut off it somewhere. But they come in various shapes, and mica is mineral. But these are very thin pieces. And you could peel them into thinner pieces even. But they're flexible. They're really cool, and I didn't have any trouble at all poking the holes and sewing it. I thought maybe it would crack, or I don't know what I thought, but it didn't. And I'll have a lot of fun playing with this stuff in other projects, and I will link that below. It's from Amazon. I just added some color to this page, and this is from a book of poetry, a really old book of poetry from Whittier. And I just love this image, this very pensive woman. And I did some stitching on it, added some German text behind it, another book spine. I've been saving those pieces of book spine, so I'm glad to have a way to use them. I extended my watercolor paper. I just sewed a thinner kind of paper, some to the bottom and sometimes to the side, just to make my watercolor paper bigger, because once I tore it, because I wanted torn edges, it was a little smaller than I wanted, because I wanted it to be able to peek out. There's a little piece of that linen doily with the crochet around the edges, and a little Tim Holtz metal piece there. This one has a little piece from the baby outfit. It's got this beautiful little blue, it was like a belt loop, and a rusty safety pin. And this piece was from my art journal, and I just sewed it or glued it to a flap, a hinge, and there's the other side of it. So it's just this little piece of pink paper that I had. And I just added some vintage lace on that. And this has a scripture verse written on it, but I liked the colors of this, and so I cut that out from my art journal page. This is also a piece from an art journal page. And there's a Mary Cassatt painting, I believe that is. And some blue eyelet and some lace and another of those school photos. I think this is one of my favorite pages. This is just from a vintage doll dress right here. So this was the bottom, and then the smocking was at the top. And I love this smocking. And I just did that little sketch with some Prismacolor colored pencils that I got for Christmas and I hadn't used yet. So that's just a drawing I did from this. I don't draw much anymore, but I want to get back into it and practice. So that's just a practice. Here's another piece from that, from this book, the furniture book, and I love the angle of that. I just love that picture. And I made this ruffle out of a vintage tablecloth. And this is the smocking from that, and another piece of vintage baby clothes and a red button, vintage button. This piece of paper is from a Latin book, Italian book. It was really old and beat up when I got it, and a map page. This is from my art journal book. And then this is something she talks about in her course, and it's just using fabric. So it's just a page. It kind of looks like the sleeve of a dress. I didn't want it to look like that, and I kind of wish it didn't, but it's how it ended up when I was done with it. And this is a baby outfit that had these buttons on it, and I just left the buttons where they were and kind of crinkled it up and sewed it and added other stuff to it. I think, is this the piece that's on the front? I think that's the piece I'm gonna add to the front, maybe. I don't remember. We'll see when I add to the front. This is a vintage pale pink crochet lace and a little collar from a baby outfit. This is from my art journal, but this was an image that I had cut out of a book and then did some stuff to it. You can see there's some stamping, and it's got gesso over it or something. There's some tatting right here. And then on the back page, I used some yellow paint to go with this. This is a front of a vintage greeting card, one of those parchment kind of papers, and I crumpled it up and inked it, and I added some more of that smocking. And this is another page from the furniture book, which I thought made an excellent end paper. So there will be journaling done in here. There's lots of space. I can write, I can add more just images that I like I did here. And I still have room to write something over here. I'm excited about using this. And because it's watercolor paper, I could do more painting and stuff on it. So I think it's an exciting book to get inside and use. So the reason I wanted to do the rest of this in a video was because I wanted to talk about adding this piece. This is a piece I picked up at a flea market, and it has this part sticking out, so I couldn't just glue it to the front of a journal, which is what I wanted to do. I guess it goes that way. It lays better that way because of that. So when I was putting this together and I got out my metal things to think about what I could add, I got all kinds of fun things in here. Some of them are vintage. Some are Tim Holtzy. But I thought, well, this would be perfect because of the layers. I punched a hole here, and I can poke that through the hole. And with all the layers that are on here, I think that will be fine. Maybe it sticks up a little bit. I wonder if I should poke a hole in that so it could go down into that. But then I'd have to make sure I poke a hole through the fabric too. So we're going to work through this together. And this is not something that she taught in the course, so I think we're okay talking about this here. So I just have some lace This is not the same lace that was inside that I was talking about. And this kind of a silky fabric all bunched up and sewn together. And I'm going to sew or glue this cheesecloth and lace behind the picture. I think I felt that go through. I just pressed on it and I felt it go into this. I'd really love to know what you think of these types of books. Is it something you would enjoy working in? Is it something that you would like me to make to put in the shop? I think I'm going to cut a hole. It doesn't matter what it looks like because that's going to be covered. So there we got a gaping hole in my fabric piece. Got a little bit of a hole there. Hopefully this is going to be enough. Let's see to put this in the right place. I think I will glue this fabric to this. That'll be one less layer I have to mess with, because it'll be all together. We sure have had a lot of snow this year. But I think it's done snowing for the day. But I see there's more forecast for a couple days from now and then several days next week too. But I'll take it as it comes. How do I get it to drop in that little hole? I think that does make it lie flatter. And I am going to glue that down. I just want to make sure. Well, easiest thing to do, obviously, Diane, if you use your head, is to take it out so you can see through the hole. And there we go. There's the hole. Sometimes I don't know about my brain. I'm creative, I'm not practical. Let's put it that way. Yes, that fits in there nicely. I'm very happy with that. So now, I know I can easily set this right where it belongs, and I'll just put some glue on it. This is Fabri-Tac glue in this bottle. And I'm so pleased that I get to use that vintage drawer handle. I love it. It's Fabri-Tac, so it dries quickly. So I'm just going to hold it, press down on it for a short bit, and then I'll use glossy accents to glue the metal piece on. And I have this metal piece I want to add, and I don't know what else I'll add to it. Like I said, I have more to do on the spine and on the inside, and of course I'll be doing the journaling on the inside too. So I will show you this journal from time to time as I do more work in it. She had a tree on the front of hers. I liked being able to use some of my cabinet cards, so I put that on. She takes photographs, like she goes to Europe and has photographs of trees and doors and windows and stuff like that, and flowers and cemetery statues, angels from cemeteries in Europe. You know, so she has a lot of images she can use like that. This corner wants to pop up, but maybe it's just going to stay popped up because this is holding the piece up and there's nothing back here for it. So I'm just going to leave it for now, and hopefully it's going to be secure enough. Do you see the watermarks on this? I love that. That's the way it was when I got it. I stuck a pin in here before I started the video, but there we go. I'll put glossy accents all around that spindle part that goes into the hole, and that should help hold it in place. And that takes longer to dry, so I'm not going to mess around with that. But I was thinking about adding this up here, but I'll probably want to put something in those holes before I glue that down. I think maybe I'll just tie some string in there and see how that looks. I'm going to have to do more mixed media, and I've been thinking I need to get my jelly plate out, because I think I've only played with it once. And I've been in this house for a year almost, and I haven't used it once since I moved. How do I want to do this? I have it doubled. I'm going to thread it through and then just tie it. So I need to do more mixed media pages, art journaling type of pages that aren't in a book, that I just intend to cut up and use for stuff like this. And also do some in a book, because I just haven't done it in so long. You know, like an art journal that I want to keep. says Design Studio on it. So I thought that was an appropriate tag to put up there. And I think I was going to add lace and buttons. I think I already had those pulled out to use. If I can find what I did with them. If I don't find them right now, I'll just have to clean up my desk and then I'll find them. It was a piece of this lace, but that piece is big. It was something I cut off of that. And oh, here they are. Here they are. It was this piece of tatting I decided to use. Yes, that's right. I wanted to use that tatting, and I love this button. It looks like it has a crackle finish on it. I don't know if it was made that way or if that really is from age, but it's pretty cool, isn't it? And it was so exciting for me to get to use all those baby clothes pieces that I have. I've got more pieces, but I've been hoarding them because how often do you find stained and antique baby clothes that you can use in journal stuff? They were in bad condition, so I did not feel bad at all about cutting them up. I might as well use some of this string while it's out to put in the button. If I can get it through the hole. I'm not sure, but my son might be coming over tonight. A few weeks ago he came over and watched Guardians of the Galaxy with me. And so the next one is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And his wife and Layla wanted to come over. They were bummed that they didn't get to come the last time. So I think they're all going to come over tonight and watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with me. I might have to make some no-bake cookies for them. There. So that's what I have so far. I have more work to do in this journal, and I will show it to you as I get more done. So please tell me what you think of a journal this style. I love it. I like handling it and looking at it. I was holding on to that so it wouldn't fall off. And I think I'm going to really enjoy working in it. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, please, this video, and subscribe, and leave a comment. I really want to know your thoughts on a journal like this, because it is a lot different from what I normally do, but I think it still has my style, my love of vintage laces and doilies, my colors, just all the vintage stuff I put in here is my style, but I don't usually do mixed media type of stuff on the backgrounds. So I think it still has my style, but it's different. It's like another branch of journal that I can make. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to go. I'm going to clean up my room, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.